Deacon, you're back.
Yes, I'm back. I'm not sure what happened.
Okay, yeah,
Think.
I actually got an apology letter from Blog Talk Radio. They've been having some technical difficulty internally, so this thing may happen. So, but you back on, you're coming in, loud and clear.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Elder.
Okay.
All right. So, our viewership, please, just be patient with us as we work through these technical difficulties, as the Elder mentioned. I'm not sure exactly where I got cut off and what I was introducing the topic of Gad. However, needless to say, Gad is in a very ill state right now. I don't think we need much reminding of what they've been through. But nonetheless, for this show, we're going to cover what it is that they're going through now. And, we appreciate everyone that's calling in. And just stay tuned. We're going to have a very exciting interview with the brother. I just want to open up with a few things that I feel are is relevant and pertaining to the topic at hand, which is the plight of Gad. So if we all can open up the scriptures, and I'm not going to read too much. I know it's a radio show. I just want to cover a couple scriptures that I feel are pertinent to this topic. We can start with Psalm chapter 55. And we all know that the breakdown of who Gad is, according to the blessings and the curses that they go through, you can find that in Genesis chapter 49, as well as Deuteronomy chapter 33, and in both chapters articulate exactly who Gad is, and beyond a shadow of a doubt, when you read those verses, it absolutely links up to the Native American people of today. Especially when combining those precepts with archaeological history and the facts that we have concerning who they are and the Hebraic evidence that we found throughout North America. But nonetheless, let's go into Psalms chapter 55. I'm going to jump around a bit in this chapter. We'll start at verse 3, and it says, "Because of the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked, for they cast iniquity upon me, and in wrath they hate me." So this is clearly a psalm that is dedicated to those that were oppressing David at that time, but we understand that there's also prophecy contained within these psalms. And when you jump down into verse 20, you see essentially the path and the way that Esau conspired against our Native American brothers and sisters. When we jump down to verse 20, it says, "He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant." Now, we all know when the pilgrims, or the so-called pilgrims, came to this land, and the conquistadors, they tell us in history class that they came in the name of freedom of religion, and that they were escaping the oppression that was in Europe, and seeking new land to inhabit and things of that nature. But when we look at the truth behind the history, it's because they understood that there was a very rich land that was here, and they felt that they were entitled to it. So they came here and they took the land from our people that were already here. And, they broke their covenant because when they came, the Indians greeted them with peace. We were not at war with the European people when they first came to the shores of North America. In fact, we civilized them. We taught them how to coexist with this land. We taught them how to be at peace and be at one with Mother Nature, and how to live in the wilderness of North America, because the conditions were very harsh for those people that were coming from Europe, given the extreme climates. It's very cold in some areas and very hot and humid in other areas. So the Native American people were responsible for bringing them into that type of understanding. So when it says that, they put forth their hands against such as be at peace with him, that's speaking about those that, first greeted these people when they came. And what did they do? They did everything in their power to essentially degrade us and eliminate us so that they could stay claim for the land on their own. And in doing research, a lot of it, because it was sanctioned by the Pope, and these people went through the Catholic Church in order to do these things, they actually conspired against us in a way to demonize the people that were here. Because you can read conflicting letters. Like when you look at the accounts of Bartolomé de las Casas, who was actually another conquistador with Christopher Columbus. He sailed with Columbus. He actually documents in his notes that a lot of the Spanish people and French people that first came to these shores, they actually lied about who the Native American people were, because they understood the beauty of the people and how civilized they were, and the technology that they had and things of that nature. But in order for them to convince the church and the government and the institutions of which they were under back home that they could take over this land and enslave the people, they had to paint this facade, this image that the people that were dwelling here were less than, that the people that were dwelling here were actually less than human and were in fact animals and beasts and things of that nature, which is why when we went through school, through grade school in this country, I'm sure everybody that's on the call can resonate with me. We learned that, the Native American people were just running around in loincloths and, sacrificing each other and, eating raw meat and things of that nature. A lot of these stories were fabricated. They knew the beauty and the technology that the people had amongst them, and you could read about that in the book American Holocaust by Stannard. That's actually an excellent read, and it goes into some of the true documentation and notes that the conquistadors took when they first came to the Caribbean, South America, Central America, and of course North America. And it talks about the pristine beauty that was here, and the millions of people that they had. They had cities with 1 and 2 million people in it, almost larger than modern day cities here in America. So this image that they give us of us living in huts and things of that nature is totally false. So it's important to recognize those things and do your research on that. But the scriptures are always true, and it speaks to that. So dropping down to verse 21 in Psalms 55, it says, the words of his mouth, this is speaking of the enemy, whom in this case was Esau. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So it speaks to a notion that, the people that came here, they were good with their mouth in the sense that they promised the world to us. They said, listen, let's make a treaty, let's make a pact. We can share this land. I'll teach you how to do certain things that you're not familiar with, and you could teach us how to dwell here safely and things of that nature. And once we upheld our end of the bargain by showing them how to, build houses, how to live off the land, how to use the herbs and the fruits and vegetables that was around us for medicinal purposes and things of that nature. Once they had that knowledge, they actually flipped it and used it against us because war was in their heart. So these treaties that they made and all of these things were just a way for them to, get closer to their agenda, with the ultimate agenda of wiping us out and controlling and having full autonomy over the land that we know as North America. And in fact, even when you look at the United States seal, you'll see a bald eagle, which is prophesied in the scriptures, as swift as the eagle flieth, so shall you be consumed, in the book of Deuteronomy. And it mentions that in Hosea as well, with the emblem of the eagle. It has the American seal has the eagle with it's something like flowers or wreaths or wheat, some type of a plants, and one talon and one hand of the eagle, and then in the other hand is arrows, showing that they came with peace, but war was in their heart. So there's nothing new under the sun, and these people, these illuminists, we know how they love to expose their agenda, and they love to, fly by night, so to speak, with hidden symbols and different, how could you say, emblems and things of that nature to deceive the people that are around them. But meanwhile, they're just laughing in our face this whole time. And then you got, brothers and sisters that are crazy enough to actually uphold that American flag and that U.S. seal, and without the proper knowledge itself, you can actually make a mockery of yourself, because this nation is founded upon bloodshed. And in fact, KRS-One had an interesting lyric that I never forgot. He said, "You can never get justice on stolen land." So the very foundation of this nation is corrupt in nature, and it was founded upon the blood, sweat, and tears of the Native American people. Now, there's one last scripture I want to get before we jump into the show, and that is Psalms 83. And most people are familiar with it, but for the new viewership that's just tuning in, or for those that are listening back to the radio show, we want to be sure to highlight certain precepts in the Bible to bring forth this understanding that we have, so that anyone that's joining in can see how blatant the deception is. And whom else could this be speaking of? Now, we don't have time to get into a full Bible breakdown, a full study, but we just want to highlight certain points and certain aspects of the scriptures that bring to light our modern plight and our modern war in the carnal sense, in the physical sense, because we all know, according to Ephesians 6, that we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with it's a spiritual warfare that we're up against. So it's important to always keep that in mind and understand that the Most High has the ultimate agenda. God has the ultimate agenda, in the sense that many of the things that we suffer through is just a result of us disobeying Him and Him trying to bring us back to the fold. So in the book of Hebrews chapter 9, it says all testimonies have to be established with blood. So anytime there's transgression against the law, blood must be shed. You understand? From an old covenant perspective as well as the new. There's the Most High requires blood. He speaks about that in the book of Genesis as well. Genesis chapter 6 and chapter 9, it goes into the importance of the blood and how the Most High will require it of us. So if we turn against Him, He will turn against us in the same fashion. So we understand that we're in the age of the curses, Jacob's trouble and things of that nature, but the curses are slowly being lifted off, and that's why the spiritual awakening is occurring right now. So it's important for us to understand what it is that we're going through. So without rambling on too much, I know we're live on the air, and I thank you all for tuning in. This is Despierta, mi gente. This is the second radio show, and we will be interviewing a Gadite brother from the state of Illinois, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. I'm just going to review one more scripture, and this will be the book of Psalms, chapter 83. And it says, we'll start at verse 1. It says, "Keep not thou silence, O God, O Most High. Hold not thy peace, and be not still. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." Now, this couldn't be further, nothing could be more true than this statement right here, because there has been a massive agenda to wipe out the understanding that the Native American peoples are from the descendants of the lost tribes of Israel. And in fact, in the late 19th century, that is, the mid-1800s to late 1800s, there was a plethora of literature that was written, and a number of articles, periodicals, professors, and so on and so forth, speaking out and bringing to light the fact that the Native American peoples were descended from the lost tribes of Israel. This was common knowledge. And you even had religious institutions that were founded upon this very belief system, such as the Mormons. They knew and understood that the Native American Indians were the Hebrew people of the lost tribes of Israel. This is well documented. All it takes is a simple Google search. So for those that are tuning in that are having trouble convincing those around them, their parents and so on and so forth, whoever is having trouble understanding this fact, just go back to a lot of the documentation that was taken down in the 1800s concerning the Native American peoples. It was actually common knowledge, and the Smithsonian Institute actually did a phenomenal job in helping to carry out this mission of making the name of Israel no more in remembrance. There was a man by the name of General Wesley Powell. Look this brother up. He was very influential in establishing the doctrine that many universities carry out, as well as is law according to the Smithsonian Institute, which we know is the largest museum and research foundation in the country and probably in the world. I would say, if not the foremost institution in the world, is definitely top three. You could check it out. They have, billion-dollar grants, from the U.S. government, as well as many other private sources. And it was founded in the name of someone named Smithson, and they made it the Smithsonian Institute. But the brother General Wesley Powell actually is the one that created that doctrine or that understanding that the Native American peoples came through the Bering Straits. He totally fabricated this and based it upon no scientific proof or evidence. You can look this up. I read it in a book that I have actually called Giants in Ancient America, and I'll try and get the author for you by the end of the show, because I have the book over here. It's not right in front of me, though. I have to get it. But it goes into the fact of how the Smithsonian did a mass cover-up, and they hid the fact that the Native American peoples were from the tribes of Israel. And General Wesley Powell was also the brother that was responsible for not validating Native American evidence pre-Columbus's arrival. So anything that was found, any antiques, any archaeological evidence, artifacts, so on and so forth that was found that has been dated prior to the arrival of Christopher Columbus in the late 1400s was deemed inauthentic. So you could imagine how much evidence was here, because we know, according to the scriptures, that the Native American people have been here since, the 6th and 7th century BC. So they were here for over 1,000 years before Christopher Columbus came. So if you don't validate any evidence prior to Columbus, that removes, over 90% of the Hebraic evidence that we have to support that we are the children of Israel. Because once Columbus came, the onslaught and the agenda to remove us from that position was rampant. And you can imagine that's when we began to blend our culture with theirs, and the emergence of European tools and things of that nature came on the scene. So a lot of what we had was wiped away and destroyed, with the intent to remove us from the remembrance of being Israel. So there's a lot of different, agendas and things of that nature. Not to go too far off on the conspiracy tip, but we understand that these are not conspiracies, or what they are conspiracies, but we know that they're true. These are not false things, and the scripture says, "Study to show thyself approved." So when you research all of these things, you can see the actual agenda and the fact that all of these things are real. So, it's very interesting, all of these things. I just wanted to read a few scriptures before we get into the actual conversation with the brother that we have on the air. And once again, this is Despierta, mi gente, and this is the second radio show. Now, the topic of today's show is the modern agenda against Gad. And we have with us a brother, Yaiquab, and he's from the Saginaw Chippewa tribe of Illinois. The brother is actually in the truth, and he is a member of GOCC Chicago. And we want to welcome the brother with open arms. And, a few of the topics that we're going to be talking about is the tribal
Okay, I think we lost the brother again. we're gonna take a break. Do we have our guest on? Is he on?
Yes, Elder. I'm here. Yes,
Hey,
yes,
Shalom.
Elder, I'm here.
Shalom, brother. How we
are
doing?
you?
Good.
Good.
We're waiting. We lost Deacon Einwasap. We're gonna take a quick break while he calls back. I don't know what's going on in regards of the connection, but we're gonna try to. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna wait until the Deacon comes back.
Okay, sounds good.
For those that have ears, let them hear. Shemaya Sharala Ahaya, Alahaya Nawa Ahaya Akhan. Shemaya Sharala Ahaya, Alahaya Nawa Ahaya Akhan. Praise the Most High for this very golden moment. I thank Him for keeping my eyes open when the enemy blinds and tries hard to close them. Even though our heritage is stolen, I'm holding on to the word of the truth. It's about that time for us to wake up the youth so they can realize what these false people do. Keep the Most High in your mind, He guides you. Praise the Most High, cause there's no one else above Him. Keep His 10 commandments and laws if you love Him. Doing what you know is right in the name of Christ. Living in the Spirit, the Holy Ghost life. No longer in the flesh, my robe is all white. Temptation's trying to take me, yeah right. Brothers and sisters, the time draws near. So for those that have ears, please let them hear. Shemaya Sharala Ahaya, Alahaya Nawa Ahaya Akhar. Shemaya Sharala Ahaya, Alahaya Nawa Ahaya Akhar. But an angel's voice from heaven had the gospel that was preached, and they wouldn't harm the earth until they gathered all the sheep. They wouldn't harm the earth until His children should be sealed. And that wicked one, Satan, prince of darkness, is revealed. The truth is from the Father. His will is that we teach that His people in the earth that were scattered and called leave are the people of the Bible. They are kings and they are priests. Through the promises of Abraham, a land is what we see. Israel. It's a shame. My thoughts so cloudy in the words of the rain. We're thirsty for the water. The truth is eternal, but the lies much shorter. You can't play both sides. You gotta cross the border. Take my hand and we'll walk to the water. Spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So we gotta spread this truth to the poor and the meek. Shemaya Sharala Ahaya, Alahaya Nawa Ahaya Akhar. 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 Praise the Creator. By the sun you shine. Praise the Creator. By the sun you shine. Many people want to tell His story from a watered down perception of their own philosophy. But did you know that the Jews were slaves? Oh yes, the Jews were slaves, brought into a land that is not of our own, waiting for redemption of a higher throne. Swing low, sweet chariots, waiting for to carry me home. Come on, help me praise the Creator.
Hello,
Okay,
hello.
Deacon, I think we're back. Okay, I think we're back.
Okay, great.
Okay.
All right, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess let me bring in the host. Let me bring him in real quick. The guest. I'm sorry. Shalom, brother. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, you're live. Okay.
Yep.
All right, the water, Elder.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
All right. So, we can see that the adversary is working pretty hard tonight. Every time I get on the roll, it's like I get cut out. But, apologies for that. Just bear with us. As we said, so we got Brother Yaiquab, and he's from the Saginaw Chippewa tribe of Illinois. And we're going to have this brother talk about his experiences being God, how he came into the truth, and some of the modern agendas that are against these people today. So without further ado, Brother Yaiquab, thank you for joining us. I met this brother some time ago. I want to say maybe, what was it, last month, 2 months ago when I was out there in Chicago, and it was a great pleasure meeting the brother. And, we just connected, and I'm happy to have you on the show today, brother. So tell me about yourself. Let the viewership know who you are, where you're from, and just give them a brief history on how you came into the truth, because I know people are always curious, especially being God. They're like, man, how did you wake up to this? Are you from a reservation? What's your family background? Things of that nature. So without further ado, brother.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me thank you for inviting me on the show. There's a ton of information we can get to, and it's very important that I really like the concept behind what you're doing here, focusing on each tribe and bringing the information out one at a time. I was speaking to the brothers here in Chicago right around Thanksgiving time last year, and I had mentioned to them it's important to have this information based off each tribe, for the simple fact of, you never know who you're dealing with. And, growing up, I knew I was Native American, but, coming across the information of being Israel just, blew me away. It opened my eyes, and it really made me want to dig into the scriptures. I grew up Christian, but I never really had a strong bond to the religion or the traditions, but I always had a strong bond to God, but I never really tapped into it because I couldn't connect with it. But once I found out, Native Americans were actually Israel, that's what opened my eyes and began my hunger for the Lord, I guess you could say. But before we get into too much today, I definitely just want to say thanks for having me on the show. I want to say peace and blessings to all the brothers and sisters out there who's tuned into the radio station here. And, it's just a blessing to be here, man. I think it's great what you guys are doing. So,
of course, brother, all praise to the Most High, man. It's a blessing to have this show, and I thank Elder Gabar as well for actually, bringing up the concept of having a Northern Kingdom radio show. He came to me with the idea a while back. I know even prior to him coming to me, they had wanted to start it even further back, and it's just, so many stuff, to get in order to actually get the radio show going. But now, praise the Most High, we have it, and we have a space for brothers such as yourself to come on here and give their testimony, as well as to shed light on some of the things that's pertaining to their tribe. So, all praise to the Most High, High by Shemishaya, Wawawak. And so brother, tell us, how was it that you first came to the understanding of being Israel? Was it through the particular tribe that you're from, the Saginaw Chippewa tribe, or if you want to talk about a little bit about that, just to give us some brief understanding, and then we could go into some of the agendas that are out against your people right in this moment.
Yeah. All right. There's a brother in the church now, Adawan Araya. He was actually out there in overseas with the elder and a few of the other brothers and sisters for a long period of time. But before he made his migration over that way, we had worked together. And this was a brother that I knew for a few years beforehand. And our work was real laid back. We had a lot of downtime, things like that. So Brother Adawan, Deacon Adawan, he'd bring his Bible in all the time. And I remember, poking fun at him a little bit, my brother and I, and we began asking questions. This guy, he was coming in with his Bible, day in, day out. And anytime we had some downtime, this guy's nose was in the book. So, curiosity, out of curiosity, we kind of, started asking questions. And I remember the first two scriptures he showed me was was Jeremiah 23 speaking on the false prophet, and he linked, he tied that into Martin Luther King with I had dreamed, and then
right.
the other one was the Christmas. Yeah, the other one was the Christmas tree in Jeremiah chapter 10. So,
that's a powerful one. That's a powerful one.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Having somebody show you this stuff, and having never heard this before, it's like, it just kind of, blew me away. I had to take a step back and like really examine what I believe, because my whole time growing up, I always questioned. I had so many questions, things that just didn't make sense to me based on the religion I was taught.
Right.
And so you begin to ask more and more questions, and everything I asked, this brother's got answers for everything.
Right.
So
right.
he told me about Elder Recall and the videos on YouTube and stuff like that, and I had began watching watching the videos. So that was really my whole introduction into the church. As far as there was nothing as far as the Indian tribes are speaking. Will really tell you that Israel. I know there was a Cherokee band. I want to say in Nebraska. They did a DNA test, and they got definitive proof showing that their bloodlines linked straight to Israel. And when this tribe had found this information out, they left the country. They're not in the United States anymore. I don't know where they went. Everybody just left. So they had some pretty good insight, I guess, good enough to make them leave everything that they had known. So.
Right, absolutely. I mean, and with that, real quick, before we move on to the next topic, just want to send a quick shout out to Brother Adawam and Elder Lamad out there in Chicago. Definitely bless those brothers and the whole congregation in Chicago. Those are some strong brothers, and they treated us like family when we went out there. So, I want to say all praise to the Most High for that. So, so moving forward then, brother, you had given me a call about 2 weeks ago, speaking about some of the modern, agendas that are out against the Native American people. And I don't think enough people realize it, because I was actually in the dark myself concerning what's currently going on. And I had no idea that, there's infighting within tribes at the moment, and also a total agenda and push from the government to even further alienate people from their Native American heritage. And, we want to get into that because that seems to be a very big topic and is heating up, especially concerning my research. And, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the states of California and in those Midwest regions, there's a lot of this what they're calling Native American tribal disenrollment. So anybody that's tuning in, please Google that. Look into that. There's a plethora of articles out there online. In fact, the New York Times just did an extensive article on it and how the state of California is actually casting off members. And so if you wanna speak about that, brother, I know there was a couple of topics that you wanted to get into. So if you don't mind, maybe we could start there, and then we'll jump around a little bit, and then we'll give the guests some time to call in, and we'll do a question and answer period. So, that'll be the agenda for the show. But let's get into this tribal disenrollment, brother. What is that, and what do you know about it? How has it affected you? Let's talk about this.
Okay, yeah, the tribal disenrollment, that's like the new thing going on, I guess you could say, between it's actually the tribal governments, because each reservation has their own constitution. They have their own laws and bylaws that they live by. And what this really all goes back to is the Dawes Rolls. Some information that you had shared with me. I did some looking into this, and what the Dawes Rolls were. It was a system set up to try to dissolve the reservation, the whole idea behind the reservation. You see, back in the late 1800s, the reservation system was successful in its original plan, but what America had found was the Native Americans who were on the reservation were unwilling to step outside the reservation. Right around this time, the American government was trying to Americanize the Native American Indian. So what they had put in place was these Dawes rolls. Okay, it was an allotment plan to give out land to the Native American Indians who could prove a certain blood quantum. Okay, and that's very important to note that blood quantum. You had to be able to prove a certain blood quantum to receive the prize or the gift that the government was willing to give to you, okay? And there's a real twisted plot behind that whole thing. Hopefully we don't forget to get into that. I want to try to stick with this disenrollment thing that's going on now with the Native Americans. But to give you a general idea what was going on, what was happening back then in the late 1800s is the same thing they're doing now with just a more modern framework, I guess you could say.
Right.
So I believe it was 1870s, they set up this allotment plan giving away land, all right? Okay. And that was like, and that was to pull the Native American out of their cultural ideas and beliefs, okay? So modern day, you still have Native Americans on reservations, all right, but you have a lot of Native Americans off the reservations. They call them at-large members.
Okay.
But on the reservation, you have not all, okay, and people get this twisted. They think that all reservation land has casinos. That's not true.
Right.
A large percentage do, but not all. But what happens on these reservations with these casinos, you have people trying to get tribal membership. And again, in order to be granted tribal membership, you have to be able to prove descendancy from a family member listed on the Dawes rolls. Okay. Now the thing about these Dawes rolls, you had over almost 250,000 people apply for membership. Okay, the government only allowed 100,000 at this time. So whether or not you were Native American, whether you could prove the blood quantum, they only allowed a certain number of people onto the Dawes rolls.
Right, and brother, not to cut your wisdom, I just want to inject. I'm not sure if you were going to go there, but an important point to mention, for those that are listening, is that of those 100,000 or so people that they let in, a large portion was actually Esau. They actually let in a lot of Caucasian, or who we know as white Americans, into these Dawes Rolls Acts. And the agenda behind this whole Dawes Rolls initiative was to break out the Native American plots of land and reallocate it, or basically re-sanction it and give it to white ownership, and to make the land more accessible to white folks that were moving west. Because remember, at the same time, you had the Indian Removal Act going on, as well as the Manifest Destiny, which was coming to a close now in the later 18th century. But by that time, much of these Westerners, or these foreigners, these Europeans, were actually spreading west, because they arrived on the east coast of North America, and they moved west. So as they moved west, they sought how they could actually gain more land for themselves. And that goes back into how they came with words as smooth as butter, but war was in their heart, because they broke all of the treaties that they actually established. So even within this Dawes Rolls Act, which was initially supposed to be an act for Native American people, many white Americans actually reaped the benefits from these acts and injected themselves into these tribal territories and nations. So you have a lot of people in these Native American nations that are actually Esau, and they're not Gad, which we're going to speak on a little bit later too. I didn't want to go off on a tangent. I just wanted to add that point and make sure that that's clear for all those that are doing your research and you're looking up the Dawes Rolls Act. It's important to understand that happened, because that was very pivotal and very important for their agenda to be pushed forward. And what is going on today, like the brother said, a lot of it plays into how they had agendas as well as laws set forth to have Gad or the Native American Indians actually acclimate and begin to adapt to white American culture, and by injecting white Caucasian people into these tribal territories. So I just wanted to add that on, brother. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good, brother. Yeah, there was a, I believe he was an Army captain. His name was Captain Richard H. Pratt. Mm-hmm. He came up with an education system. He coined it, "Kill the Indian, save the man," which ties into Psalms 83, which we had brought out in the beginning of the radio show here. Kill the Indian, save the man. And one of the things that Pratt believed, he said, if you place one good white family between two good Native American families, he said the Native American will take on the customs of the white and be more willing to travel outside of the reservation. So yeah, wow. Absolutely. That's amazing, they set up whites. They set up whites in the Dawes Rolls, and it was all a part of the plan. It was all part of the system. And
also, brother, just to add on, that brother, Platt, he was also, for all of my Manasseh brothers that may or may not be tuning in, and Ephraim brothers, he actually was behind what was known as the Platt Amendment. You could look that up. And the Platt Amendment was actually the foundation and basis for which American and Cuban relations would go on from around the early 1900s moving forward. And we all know what America did to the state of Cuba in the early 1900s with prostitution, gambling, so on and so forth. It's the same agenda that they had with Gad. So this brother Platt was definitely an evil brother, not to cast stones at anybody, but we got to call it like we see it. And Platt was definitely behind a lot of agendas concerning our people and the conspiracy to wipe us out from being Israel. So I just wanted to add that on too, brother. But go on.
Yep. So again, getting back to these Dawes Rolls, you had 250,000 people who applied. Only 1,000 were granted membership. As you had stated, you had a lot of Esau who was given membership into the allotment rolls. What's going on today? When a man or woman begins the process to be recognized by their tribe, you have to bring forth certain information. You have to be able to prove blood quantum, family trees. You have to have different federally recognized documents, things like this, proving who you are. In my case, I've been fighting my case for almost 10 years, maybe a little more. There's Native Americans who live on the reservation, brother, who've been fighting for 20 years, some of them 30 years.
Now, when you say fighting for your case, explain that for the brothers and sisters that are tuning in.
Yeah. Again, the Indian tribes, they have their own form of government. They have their own constitutions and bylaws. So when I say fighting for our membership, really, it's exactly what I say. What they do is they give you a hearing date. You show up to their courtroom and you present your information. Once you present your information, they're able to take it in, and they're granted however long a period they need to research it. And usually what happens is they send you a letter in the mail telling you that I think we might have
lost a brother. Hey, Elder Gabar, can you hear me?
Yeah, I could still hear the brother. Brother Jacob.
Yes.
Well,
yeah, okay. I'm still here.
Okay, yes. All right. So I think we're having Deacon Ironwood is having technical difficulties. He's going to call back on in a few minutes. What I'm going to do is we're going to take another quick break. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call as the host, and then we'll be able to continue the show. And I'll have Deacon Ironwood up call as a co-host. So just bear with us. We'll be right back. You're listening to GOCC, Despierta, Gente. Okay, shalom, brother Jacob.
Shalom, Elder.
Okay, we're back. Apologies. For some reason, today is one of those days that Blog Talk doesn't want to be working with us. So, brother, go ahead. You were saying in regards of how the government is actually. So, to go back to the question you were saying that you're fighting with your tribal government, correct? Would that be a fair assessment, or the United States government?
No, it's actually the tribal government, and without trying to, I could take us off into a whole other direction here on how the tribes ran, but a lot of your tribal people lack education. So what happens in they call them councils, the tribal council. There's usually about 9 or 10 elders who are voted into office, and you kind of run things on the reservation. But what's going on is the councils.
I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry, but you're breaking up a little bit. I don't know. You sound a little muffled. I don't know if you changed your phone or your direction.
Sorry, Elder. Am I clear now?
Not perfect. You sound perfect. Go ahead.
Sorry. What's that?
You were saying that your some of the tribal leaders are not prepared or educated to be in the positions, and then we lost you there.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, a lot of the tribal council members they lack education. So what's happening is they're hiring lawyers from outside the reservation. So you're getting a lot of Esau coming into a lot of these tribal councils. Now they're not council members. They're like if to give you kind of to paint a picture, they're like cabinet members for the president or
right.
or advisors. Okay, these people because what's going on is there's so much money being pulled into these casinos. The Indian tribes, they're looking for guidance on what to do with it. So it's turning into a business. What used to be a non-profit organization, because all the profit sharing was divided amongst the tribal members. So now all those profits are being.
Hold on, brother. Let me see. I think. Okay, you on? Okay, you on?
Yeah. Can you brothers hear me?
We can hear you clear.
Okay, good. Sorry, man. I don't know what's going on with this thing, but just continue. I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're okay. So what's going on is the reservations are being turned into a business. They're trying to figure out ways to make money instead of share money. So what's happening is a lot of tribal members are being disenrolled, being kicked off the band rolls, and when that happens, the most important thing is you lose your tribal membership. So it means a lot to us, to be able to say I'm from the Saginaw Chippewa Indian tribe.
Okay.
Now when I go up to the reservation, I can say that I'm Saginaw Chippewa, but I don't have my card saying I'm Saginaw Chippewa, so I'm just an outsider. They don't really like at-large members, they call them. Okay, so it's like a battle just to get recognized.
Okay. And 2 seconds. And Deacon, can you press the number 1? We could bring you on top because we see you in the bottom. If you could just press the 1, then you'll be right on top.
Yeah, I just pressed it.
Okay, great. And so Brother Jacob, so the question is, what is the issue or what is the problem of a Native American officially being recognized? What is the requirement? What could kick you out? The question is, why is it taking you so long to be recognized by your own people as a Native American?
Right. Okay. So each member who's recognized, you get a group of benefits. Okay. There's money involved. There's health care involved. It's free health care. It's free schooling. There's a lot of things that come with it. Discounted gas. Free gym memberships. I mean, there's a lot of things that come along with this. So with that being said,
but what the question is, I guess I was asking, it was, what is the issue that only a certain amount of membership is given every year, and basically so that's basically the problem, that there's not enough membership to go around per year, and that's the holdup?
No, there's more than enough to go around. Just to give you an idea, the casino on my reservation profits $2 billion a year.
Okay.
So there's more than enough to go around, but what's happening is the councils are bringing in outsiders, and everybody's fattening up their pockets. The council members included. Okay, so now they're doing a lot of things to hide money also. They build things. So they build additions onto the casinos. They bring in huge acts to perform in their auditoriums. They on my reservation, they built the second largest water park in the state. There's a lot of things that they do to spend money, to say that they're not making money, but there's more than enough money being made.
Okay.
And this all started about 10 years ago. They started to scare tribal members by telling them, there's a possibility that your profit sharing may decrease by 5%. They told them 5%. And over the last 10 years, tribal members they were told at the beginning of this year that they're going to lose up to 50% of their profit sharing from last year to the. So I mean, this thing's really getting ramped up, and because of that, and because tribal members are being told that they're going to lose 50%, they think automatically, because again they lack education, they think automatically, it's because we have all these at-large members trying to get into the tribe. So that immediately pits them up against us.
Now,
they want all the money to stay on the reservation.
Sorry. Brother Yikwa.
Go ahead, Deacon. Go ahead.
Right. So, according to my research, right, now you guys may have touched upon it when my call had dropped out, but, I'm seeing and that, like you're mentioning now, that one of the main reasons of tribal disenrollment is simply due to the fact of profit margins. And from what I've seen is that although the Indians, or so-called Indians, the Native American people, or GAD as we know, do have sole proprietorship or sole authority over the casinos, although they have that, from what I've read, the majority of the time, they'll contract to outside agencies and outside parties to actually manage the day-to-day affairs of the casinos. And I think a lot of that influence has caused them to really kind of pull back on the membership and get into this state of mind of greed and power and things of that nature. Not to mention the fact that when you look at the Dawes Rolls Act, I'm sure that you have a number of Edomites that are at the chief positions in some of these Native American tribes that are actually dictating a lot of what's going on behind the scenes. Can you speak on that?
I can tell you from my tribe,
alone. I really haven't dealt with too many different tribes. And some of the brothers who came up to the powwow with us a month ago will tell you there's really small interaction between tribes. But in my reservation, if you go up to the council office, 90% of the people there are white.
Wow.
Well, how's that possible?
Yeah,
wow.
How's that possible?
Because it. And here's another thing too. Another misconcept is a lot of people who've never been to a reservation would just imagine that when you go to a reservation, it's all Indians. But no, if you go to like a poor reservation, like if you go to the Lakota Sioux in Montana and the Dakotas region, when you go out that way, it's all Native American because there's no money there. But because of the casino and the different revenue it's able to produce out there, you have a lot of different people who will kind of funnel into that area. So what happens is, you open up a position for employment, and it has to first be given to a Native American, okay? But if there's no Native Americans with the proper what's the word I'm looking for? The proper
education or skill.
Yeah, education, work history to perform the duties of the job. Then you have to give it to somebody else. And all it takes is one, guys. You have to look at the history of the Jesuits. Look at the history of this government. You have a lot of people who infiltrated office, and through their infiltration, they bring one person with them, and then that person brings somebody else with them, and before you know it, everything you have is completely infested. Let me read the scripture real fast, if you don't mind.
Sure.
When I read this, it makes me think of what's going on my reservation. It's in Jude chapter 1, verse 4. It says, "For there are certain men crept in unawares, who were before of old ordained to this condemnation, ungodly men, turning the grace of our God into lasciviousness, and denying the only Lord Ahiah and our Lord Yeshua Christ." So, what's going on these reservations? You have to understand that the American government set up these reservations, and they kept close eye on it from the time they were set up all the way till now. I believe certain people are putting power over the reservations, directed there by these certain men who creep in unaware, okay, and from there they enact the plan. I'm going to read one more thing because I'm trying to get to something here, and I probably can't paint the picture as good as what I'm about to read can, okay? What I'm about to read, there's an excerpt. This is an excerpt from President Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson. It's a private letter to William Henry Harrison. He was the governor of an Indian territory, and it was dated on February 27th, 1803.
Now, brother, real quick, before you read that, what could someone Google or put in the search engine to look that up? Just letter from President?
Yeah, so you could put excerpt from President Jefferson's private letter to William Henry Harrison.
Okay, great. And what was the date on that again?
It's February 27th, 1803.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
Okay. Thomas Jefferson writes, the decrease of game rendering the substance by hunting insufficient, we wish to draw them to agriculture, to spinning, and to weaving. So what he's saying is we got to pull these people out of their culture and bring them more into our culture, into farming, okay, agriculture, spinning, and weaving. The latter branches they take up with great readiness because they fall to the women who gain by quitting the labors of the field for these which were exercised within doors. When they withdraw themselves to the culture of a small piece of land, okay, this is the land allotments, we'll give you 10 acres of land, 20 acres of land, okay? He says, when we draw them when they withdraw themselves to the culture of a small piece of land, they will perceive how useless to them are their extensive forests and will be willing to pair them off from time to time in exchange for necessaries for their farms and families. So what he's saying is, we'll give these people a patch of land, and then when they begin to do the farming and agriculture, they'll be willing to sell back parts of the land because they cannot afford to farm the land that we gave them. So they gave them a large piece of land that they knew that they couldn't afford, knowing that in the end they were going to get the land back anyways. Okay, that's the words being smooth as butter. Okay, you have to excuse me with my voice. I'm dealing with some allergies.
Yeah, you sound fine, brother. Go ahead.
Okay. It says to promote the disposition to exchange lands which they have to spare, and we want for necessaries which have to spare, and they want. We shall push our trading houses and be glad to see the good and influential individuals among them to run in debt, because we observe that when these debts get beyond what the individuals can pay, they become willing to lop them off by cessions of land. At our trading houses, too, we mean to sell so low as merely to repay the cost and charges. So they would sell at such a small rate, it would only cover what it cost to run the place. Nobody was making money off it. So as neither to lessen or enlarge our capital. This is what private traders cannot do, for they must gain. They will consequently retire from the competition, and we shall thus get clear of these pests without giving offense or umbrage to the Indian. So by setting up the land allotment plan, what they did was they gave them a large piece of land that they knew they could not afford to uphold, so that the Indian would have to sell it back to them piece by piece, and before you know it, the land that was given to them, the reservation, the land allotment, it became the Western expansion anyways. It was all a part of the plan. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing going on with these casinos now. Yeah, we'll give you a casino, and you'll be able to reap some benefits off it for a small period of time. But the plan from the beginning was, because of these Dawes rolls, going back to the Dawes rolls of 1878, I believe it was, or 1887, they knew at some point they were going to start getting more strict on who they allowed in to membership. Because over a period of time, when you begin to cut the profit sharings and you begin to cut the membership numbers in half, and then you cut them in half again, before you know it, you don't have no more Indians getting any type of benefits. But the casino will still be there producing money. So who's the money going to go to when everyone's cut off the band rolls? It's going to go back to the government, and it was the plan from the beginning.
Amazing.
Now, so brother, I'm sorry, Deacon, I just want to just ask one more question, just for my clarification. So what you're saying is that what they're doing in the paper, just putting on paper that before anybody gets hired within these casinos and these positions, either government positions or casino position, administration position, it has to be given to a native. But if you cannot find a native that is qualified, you are allowed to give it to a non-native. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yes.
Okay. So therefore, what you're saying is that what they're doing is they are really ignoring the fact of that most Native Americans are not getting a good education, are not getting, they're not being trained to hold these positions or to apply for these positions. So therefore, by default, they will give it to outsider, most likely a European. And the second question to the statement we just made, is there any training course that the government is given to the Native Americans to make sure they're able to fulfill those jobs, or those things are also being cut?
Well, it's really hard to make that. It's really hard to make the claim that I made, but I can only make it because I've heard it from so many miles before. The reason why I say it's hard to make the claim is because the funding for education to Native Americans is there. there's plenty Native Americans who can take advantage of the funding for the education, but the Native American has become so American. Okay, we get caught up with. If you were to go to a reservation right now, this is what I say, and it's because it's close to home for me. If you were to go to a reservation right now, the youth, okay, the younger Native Americans, you would think you were in like the middle of Chicago, the middle of New York. You know, you would think you were in like an urban setting, in a large city, because the tribal people have taken on to the customs of America so much. We wear their clothes, we talk just like them. You would not know if there were not signs posted everywhere, you would not know that you're on a reservation. And I say that to say this. Yes, the funding is there, the opportunity is there, but our people are so caught up in the system, we have become lazy. We've always dealt with, drugs and alcohol. That's been a big fall in our community. So the number of Native Americans actually taking advantage of those opportunities is very small. And when you get one that does, when they get a taste of the outside world, some of them, are not going to come back. So it's a very small number of people who actually stick around and try to change their community.
And if I can interject for a second, and kind to veggie back on what you were saying earlier, Elder. According to some of the research that I've been doing, Yaiqua, it's almost as if the U.S. government has set up these policies and things of that nature to work to the benefit of the U.S. government in every way. In the sense, and what I'm saying is this, is that because it's widely known how much damage the U.S. government has done towards the Native American people, they've created policies to basically leave the natives to their own ruin, in the sense that now, because they were so intrusive before, they've created policies to say, okay, well, now we're not going to get involved in any Native American affairs, even if it's for their benefit. You see what I'm saying? So with the fact of how the elder said, are they not providing programs and things of that nature, the U.S. government will take the stance of, well, what the Native Americans do is what the Native Americans do. But behind closed doors, they actually have infiltrators within the organizations, within those tribal governments, that are telling the people or swaying the people more towards the left than they are towards the right. You see, and they'll be like, well, we don't have nothing to do with that. So, it's not our responsibility to train them. The Native American people have to train them. But they've debilitated the Native American people so much that they don't have the wherewithal to train themselves in some instances. And just to segue into the next topic, because we have a little bit less than an hour here, and I want to push the show along because there's so many, things to touch upon, and we want to give the viewership some time to call in, because we actually have a lot of callers on today's show. Praise the Most High. The whole phenomena with the casinos. I was looking into it, and it stemmed from the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, and this took place back in the early 70s, where the U.S. government actually, they tried to, because just to give people a quick background, the Native American reservations are sovereign territory, meaning that they're completely independent of the U.S. government. But the U.S. government has created policies to set up that they still reap benefits from those Native American territories. And one of their biggest benefits that they reap from is the casinos, because what happened was, once the Native American people found out that their land was sovereign and they could take advantage of it, they started setting up gaming booths and things of that nature. It started with like bingo and stuff like that. And they actually had higher stakes than what was in the sanctioned areas of the U.S. So basically, they would have higher cash prizes and things of that nature. So people that were playing bingo in their hometown once they found out the benefits from the Native Americans, they were going to Native Americans and playing bingo there and things of that nature. And once the U.S. government found out about it, they said, okay, we're going to establish this Indian Gaming Regulatory Act so that we don't have anything to do with them, and they can do whatever they want on their land, and they can't be persecuted for it. But the only clause was that they can still reap tax benefits from these casinos. So, and I didn't know that, brother. I just found that out, and so even with the exorbitant amount of money that these casinos are making, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 billion a year, the U.S. government is actually taking home about 45% of that.
Yep.
And then when you look at the institution of these Dawes rolls and the Indian the disenrollment and things of that nature, you have a large portion of non-natives that are also reaping the benefits on the Indian side of things. So when you look at it, GAD is really not doing they're really not making that much money off of these casinos.
No, not at all. When you get to these reservations too, the casino is really the only thing that's happening out there. So even though these Native Americans they're receiving profit sharing from the casino, the Native American, they get this money and they go back to the casino. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like the money's just being recycled through the same place over and over and over. But yeah, to speak on what you're saying a little bit there, yeah, absolutely. The government takes full advantage of the casinos. Another way they do it too is by police force. On my reservation, it's in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. On my reservation alone, there's 5 different jurisdictions on just a couple hundred quarter. How do you measure it out? It's not a very big space of land. It's barely 10 miles.
Wow.
Okay. There's 5 different police jurisdictions on there. You have the tribal force, which is supposed to govern the Native Americans and no other, according to the Constitution, no other police force can arrest a Native American, but it happens all the time because they make money off it.
Right.
You have all within that 10 square miles. You got a sheriff's office, you got the state police, you got Isabella County Police, and there's another one not coming to mind, but there's 5 different jurisdictions. So they make a lot of money off arrest. There's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of alcohol that goes on the reservation. So they make big money off arrests and off their court systems. But yeah, then again, the casinos. You're not going to be able to put up we have a reservation, but our reservation is inside of a county. So anything inside that county, you still have to pay your taxes to your county. If it wasn't for the casino, the highways would never get repaired. There would be no streets, in that area. But the reason why things are built up, and it's because of the taxes paid off to the government. That's the only reason why they take care of the area. Think about it. If the government didn't reap something from the casino, then why would they build the area around the casino? No, they need people around the casino, and they need people filling the casino because they make monies off of the casinos. So yeah, absolutely. And what's interesting, man, when you look at it all, from a spiritual perspective, it's like the only way, and this is how for all of those that say that, only the southern kingdom is Israel, and, there's no, because you got brothers that say that Native Americans and Latinos are not part of the 12 tribes of Israel and things of that nature, but to show you that, we all suffer from the same curses, because the only way that GAD is able to make money in today's time is to be an astonishment and a byword and a proverb. I mean, look at this. It's like the only way that they reap money is through casinos. And what do people do at casinos? What goes on at casinos? It's gambling, it's prostitution, it's shows, singing and dancing, chucking and jiving for these folks and things of that nature. And
And so the only way that we're able to make a profit is through games. Look at that.
Yep.
They got Judah all up on the basketball court and the football field. They got, Ephraim and Simeon and Manasseh and Asher on the baseball field and the boxing ring and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And they got Gad and the casinos. So the only way that we can make money is through the physical talents or what's left of what the Most High blessed our forefathers with, in the sense of what we used to use for righteousness is now being used for a show. And that's why we're in the announcement to the world, because it's like we don't do anything else but showbiz, for lack of a better word. So, it's really disheartening, man.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to do real quick, brother, is because I know there's still a few more things that you want to speak on, but we're running out of time. We have about a little less than about 50 minutes left. And due to the technical difficulties earlier, I wasn't able to bring on my co-host, Brother Omar, from the tribe of Ephraim, who actually lives in Puerto Rico right now. And I know he wanted to get on. I want to give him some time to say a few couple things or ask any questions that he may have for you. And then we can take a quick break. We'll play a song or two, and then we'll come back and we'll open it up. We'll open the lines up for questions and answers from the audience. So, Brother Omar, you are live on the show. We want to bring you in. Welcome, brother. Sorry we couldn't bring you on earlier. It's just the blog talk has been messing up. But if you have any things to say towards the brother Yaikwab, you're live on the show right now.
Shalom, brothers.
Hey, shalom.
Shalom. Yes, brother. It's very interesting listening to the brother here of the tribe of Cat, and his intake on what is happening to that tribe specifically. Listening to him, and I can definitely see the resemblance of what happened to us, our history. It's very similar to what is happening to a lot of the natives. Well, because when we say Native American, we also have to encompass all the other indigenous tribes of America. Because America is a continent, and there are different indigenous tribes and native tribes, and that's what I also wanted to ask the brother a question of what is the perspective of the Indians natives in the United States regarding the other natives in the Americas. What is the relation that they have with the other tribes? How do they view them? What is their perspective about them? Do they see themselves as the same people, or do they see them similar? Let's say, for example, with the natives in Mexico, because right now that there's the border, but before the Americans, the Europeans came to America, there was no division geographically. So do they see themselves as the same bloodlines, as the same people? Do they know the struggles that the Indian natives in Brazil are going through? And I wanted to ask the brother that question.
Excellent question, Brother Yaikwab. Were you able to hear that loud and clear?
Yeah. I believe I was able to hear and understand what he was saying. To speak on that for a moment, it seems today there's all Native Americans know that Native that we're all one people. We we understand that there was different divisions for different reasons. There's over 100 different dialects of the native tongue and things of that nature. There seems to be a very large division between different tribal groups. To give you an example, I'm from the Saginaw Chippewa tribe in Michigan. Now there's a Fond du Lac Chippewa tribe in Wisconsin, and there's not more than 400 miles that separate the two tribes. They're just on the other side of Lake Michigan. But now I met a family from Fond du Lac, and when I had told them that I was from Saginaw, Chippewa, he told me he was Chippewa. I'm like, I'm Saginaw, Chippewa, and he almost looked at me like I was the enemy. He started talking to this white guy. He was giving a presentation about Native American history. And so I started talking to him about it. It was a white guy next to me. Like, as soon as I told him I was Saginaw, Chippewa, it's like he kind of just cut me off and started speaking to this white guy that was next to me. And, man, it really kind of threw me back because, here I am thinking, now at this point I'm kind of ignorant to the history and things like that. So, at this point I'm thinking that, this guy's going to embrace me with brothers, but it was the exact opposite. It was kind of wild. Now I can only speak on my experiences and the few experiences that I've had. Now I've never lived on the reservation. My father was there for about 20 years, so the little bit I know I picked up from him, and the few visits that I made up to Mount Pleasant, Michigan. So that was one of my experiences with them. Now when you get on the tribe, when you get on the reservation, one of the reasons why I go up there when I can is for these powwows. Now at the powwows, it's a completely different energy. It's like, everybody comes together. You have people that come all over America, different tribes that come all over America to partake in these powwows. The reason being is because there's money involved. You have men and women that dress up head to toe in regalia. They do their ceremonial dances. You have people that set up booths around the center where the dances are going on, and they're selling different type of Native American materials, tomahawks, earrings, pipes, musical instruments, all this stuff, oils, all kinds of Native American things. And it's the reason why they're able to come together for those couple of days is because of the money that could be generated. There's It's hard for me to put into words just because I don't have that kind of resentment towards other people, but there's a huge division between each tribe. It seems to me, anyways.
That's deep, brother. Now let's and brother Omar, we'll take some more time when we get back from this break, but I want to give the listeners a quick break so that they can just gather their notes and get whatever questions they may have together. Once we return from this song, we'll be opening up questions from the audience, and Elder Kabar will assist me in that. And we hope that the show is edifying and fruitful for you all. Once again, this is Despierta, mi gente. This is the second radio show, and we're interviewing the brother Yaquab from the tribe of Gad, from the Senegal Chippewa tribe. So we thank the brother. All praises to the Most High. And just give us one moment, and we're going to take this quick little song break, and we'll be right back.
Yeah. Walking in cathedrals with high ceilings, I feel faint, knowing that their origins is built on the blood of the saints. They on a crash course straight to Hades. Josephus try to tell them, ain't no paradise for this people establishing world rebellion. It's a fixed part in the earth reserved for tormental judgment. No rest, no water, no food to scorch us, with legions of demons waiting to afflict us for boredoms of eternity. The only fragrance is the sapphire and mercury. Your work is of iniquity. Jesuits, Masons, what makes it more relevant when you're hella bent? They be spacing your television, programming how they television sacrifice missing children, erected statues, prolific buildings. Check it for lodges, Czechoslovakian, Bohemian Grove style gore. How they operate, no remorse, got us lost in the system. Chief demons of exorcisms. Many shall say, Lord, Lord, He shall dismiss us. People often perceive evil, not knowing its origin, Prince of Darkness and its people. People often perceive evil, not knowing its origin, Prince of Darkness and its people. People often perceive evil, not knowing its origin, Prince of Darkness and its people. People often perceive evil, not knowing its origin, Prince of Darkness and its people. Matthew 7:22. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? Is thy name cast out devils? Is thy name done many wonderful works? And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you, depart from me, ye that work iniquity.
No P-O-P-E, gon' say the P-O-P-E-O-P-L-E from falling in the deepest of the belly. Scarlet color devils in Revelation, but they can't see. Matthew 23 verse 9, but they can't read. Y'all been tricked by the magic and the alchemy. Who y'all call father, rock or knock him off the balcony. Ain't nothing but some wolves among sheep, and they ought to eat. But once a liar meet a lion, who becomes the beast? My people on the road to redemption. Once the Father send the Spirit to come speak, we all listen. Just trying to keep the faith in these hell like.
Okay, shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm back. Deacon Iron, what's up? You're in. My apologies. We having no kinds of issues today, brother.
Yes, I'm here, Elder. We were just taking a quick break. You know, letting the song play out, and then we were going to come right back and open up for questions and answers from the audience.
Okay. So I'm going to put my phone on mute. I just got to step out for 10 minutes, so then you can do your thing. So, my apologies. So we'll be right back. I guess we're going to take a song and we'll be right back. Because I know you were trying to send me to the yellow room, so I just wanted to let you know I'm back, but I'll be stepping out, be coming back in 10 minutes.
Okay, no problem. I'll take over the lines.
Okay, shalom.
All right, shalom.
Yeah. Walking in cathedrals with high ceilings, I feel faint, knowing that their origins is built on the blood of the saints. They on a crash, go straight to Hades. Josephus try to tell them, ain't no paradise for these people establishing world rebellion. It's a fixed part in the earth reserved for tormental judgment. No rest, no water, no food to scorch us, with legions of demons waiting to afflict us for boredoms of eternity. The only fragrance is the sapphire and mercury. Your workers of iniquity, Jesuits, Masons, what makes it more relevant when you're hella bent? They be spacing your television, programming how they television sacrifice missing children, erected statues, prolific buildings. Check it for lodges, Czechoslovakian, Bohemian Grove style gore. How they operate, no remorse, got us lost in the system. Chief demons of exorcisms. Many shall say, Lord, Lord, he shall dismiss us. People often perceive evil, not knowing its origin, prince of darkness and its people. People often perceive evil, not knowing its origin, prince of darkness and its people. People often perceive evil, not knowing its origin, prince of darkness and its people. People often perceive evil, not knowing its origin, prince of darkness and its people. Matthew 7:22. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? Is thy name cast out devils? Is thy name done many wonderful works? And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you, depart from me, ye that work iniquity.
No P-O-P-E, gon' say the P-O-P-E-O-P-L-E from falling in the deepest of the belly. Scarlet color devils in Revelation, but they can't see. Matthew 23 verse 9, but they can't read. Y'all been tricked by the magic and the alchemy. Who y'all call father, rock or knock him off the balcony. Ain't nothing but some wolves among sheep, and they ought to eat. But once a liar meet a lion, who becomes the beast? My people on the road to redemption. Once the Father send the Spirit to come speak, we all listen. Just trying to keep the faith in these hell-like conditions. Not submissive, you be in a submission, but we all got a mission. So close to land of milk and honey, we can taste that. Where we build under the Father, you can't break that. We just trying to bring Jake back, but the whole world hate that.
People often perceive evil, not knowing its origin, prince of darkness and its people. People often perceive evil, not knowing its origin, prince of darkness and its people. People often perceive evil, not knowing its origin, prince of darkness and its people. People often perceive evil,
not knowing its origin, prince of darkness and its people. People often perceive evil, not knowing its origin, prince of darkness and its people. People often perceive evil, not knowing its origin, prince of darkness and its people. People often perceive evil.
Okay, and we're back. Definitely shout out to my brother Deacon Kazak. Hard Rain too. That joint always gets me hype. But now we're gonna take callers. Brother Yaikwab, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So now we're gonna be taking some callers. If you wish to call in and ask a question or make a comment, please press 1 on your phone so that we can bring you into the queue. And we'll start going about it that way. And we ask that you be brief. Please do not make too long, elongated comments and things of that nature. We only have about 30 minutes left, and we have a lot of callers. So I really want to make sure that everybody gets a chance. So just be fair to the other people that are listening in and may have a question as well. So right now we got 716 area code. I believe that's my brother Araya from Buffalo. Brother, can you hear us?
Con, can you hear me?
Okay. Praise the Most High, brother. Shout out to Buffalo in the building. State your name, brother, where you're from, and your question.
I'm Mariah from Buffalo, New York, and I had a comment for you, and the question slipped my brain, but I wanted to know if you had checked out this one video called 500 Nations, and it went into like the 500 nations that was over here on and they show how they kept the Sabbath and how they kept the first fruits and all of that. So I guess that was my question and comment, huh?
Okay, beautiful, brother. Brother Yaikwa, did you hear that?
Yes, I have seen I've seen portions of the video. I know it speaks in detail the different tribes and where they're located. I know it speaks on the wars and the different ails that the tribal people had to go through. I'm trying to think when I seen this. I thought it was I thought when I had seen this it was after I had came into the truth. So I would have been more aware of something like that. So if like I said, I've seen bits and pieces of it. It's a very long documentary. I don't recall them talking about keeping the Sabbath and the feast and things like that. But there's much writings and documents showing the Native Americans. They actually kept every single feast day written in Leviticus 23. You can find that history in James Adair's book, History of the American Indian.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, beautiful, brother, man. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for showing support and love to the show. I hope to see you soon, brother. And, we'll talk soon, brother, man.
All right, bless you. Shalom.
All right, Barakatah, Shalom.
Something else, brother, too, that just hit my mind. The information we got on how the Hebrews observe time with the new moons and things of that nature, that was new information to us. I don't know, maybe about a year ago. I want to say when Elder Recall brought that out, maybe a year and a half. That information, the same information they brought out in that study, is actually in the history of the American Indian too. The Native Americans kept time based off of where they kept, obviously days by night and day, but they kept months and years based off of the moon.
Wow, excellent, brother. So you said that was History of the Native American Indian by who?
History of the American Indian.
Okay.
His name was James Adair. It's Adair. James Adair was a trader. He dealt with the Choctaw and the Chickasaw Indians down in like the Tennessee and Kentucky regions, the Carolina regions. He traded with Native Americans for 30 years, and he has 28 arguments in this book. Every argument in the book is stating proof on how the Native Americans were from the lost 10 tribes of Israel.
Wow, excellent, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So viewership, please note that. And we're going to get to the next caller. I see a 412 area code, 412-545. You are live. Can you hear us?
Khan, yes, sir.
Okay,
hey, sir.
Brother. That sound like Brother Paryon.
Yes, sir. Shalom.
Shalom, my brother.
Shalom, hermano.
Okay.
I didn't even mean to get in the queue, but all praises to the Most High. Anyway, I was listening. I've been listening since I've been out of work. I was just leaving work now, but I had my phone on there, listening to the show there with the brother Yaquab on there.
Absolutely, brother.
Gadai, brother. So that's a blessing. All praises, and I just want to say real quick, it's ironic because I was just looking through some videos earlier before I went to work on YouTube, and I was checking out some of the GOCC Chicago, and I actually seen the video with the brother and Elder Lamad at the powwow, like he was saying. And I thought it was profound when I seen the brother on there, and then I didn't even really know you were going to have him on the show tonight, but yeah, it's kind of ironic. But I was watching the brother, and I'm like, wow, that's profound. All praises to the Most High. Hey, brother, brother Yaquab, it's a blessing to meet you. All praises to the Most High for waking you up, and doing that work. And you a strong soldier out there, and I salute you.
I appreciate that, brother. Bless you, and yeah, man, just spread the word. We're trying to get this information out. We know, a lot of the people in the Northern Kingdom, a lot of this information hasn't really hit us yet. So we got to make sure that brothers like yourself, brothers like me, and everybody else on the station, that we get this information out to those of the northern region. So.
Absolutely. Thank you, and thank you, Brother Paryon, for tuning in, brother. I gotta keep it moving though. We'll talk soon. Most High bless you, brother Barakatah, and we'll talk soon, brother. Much love. Now moving on to the next brother or sister, I'm not sure. We got 708 area code 708-903. You are live. Can you hear us?
Shalom wa barakatam. Ayam. This is Brother Gabaya out of the Shot-Town.
Okay.
Shout out to Brother Yaquab. I want your side.
Shalom, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm blessed, man. Love to the family. I just was a few questions, but I'm gonna let you say you were trying to move fast. I just want to send a shout out from the Shot-Town, from the GOCC Chicago.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Oh, definitely a big shout out, big time shout out to GOCC Chicago. Those brothers are lovely out there. Strong brothers under Elder Lamad. Very, very solid brother, man. And they showed a lot of love to brother and Deacon Nehemiah and I when we came out there last month.
Yeah.
And, we hope to go back soon, man. All praise to the Most High for you, brothers.
I'm just going to say, man, the Most High got to protect the whole multitude that's trying to follow in righteousness. And I'm going to sign off on that. And Shalom, Brother Yaquab, one more time.
Shalom, we'll see you on Shabbat.
Amen.
Shalom.
Amen. Okay, so moving on to the next caller. Thank you, brother, for calling in. Moving on, we have 773. Area code 773-816. State your name, where you're from. Can you hear us? And what's your question?
Hello, Shalom.
Shalom.
This is what up, Juan Yusuf? This is Mayaka Alaba from GOCC Chicago.
Mayaka Alaba, what's going on?
What's happening, brothers? Man, I was just listening. Shout out to Yaquab. What up, brother? What's happening, Ak? Man, I'm just loving y'all your knowledge, man, and I just want to say barakatah to Yaquab and his family, man, and I remember the class we had about the Thanksgiving deception. It was just profound, and I was able to go back to my family's house and let them know, because I told them that was going to be my last Thanksgiving. I just wanted to give out some knowledge to them, but I just got two quick questions for for both of y'all brothers. One question is, why do you think that there's certain tribes that get it quicker than other tribes? Like you got Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and Ephraim, which are and Gad are predominantly the ones that are waking up, and there's other tribes that are a lot harder to get to. And then my second question is, Yaquab, do you think there's anything like scriptural that goes with the Native Americans and the problem that they have with alcoholism? Is that is that a curse, or is that just something that is generally with the children of Israel?
Okay, thank you for your comment and thank you for your question, Brother Mike Caliber. I'll take question one and touch on two, and then I'll let Yaquab finish it off. But essentially, to your first question, why is it that certain tribes are getting it more than others? Essentially, a lot of that ties into prophecy as well, because when you read in the book of Zechariah, could be Zephaniah, I'm not sure if, forgive me, it talks about how Judah will have to rise first. You see what I'm saying? Judah will awake first. So that's why you see the multitude of Judites and Benjamites really kind of pushing the mission forward as far as the awakening of our people in the Israelite movement. And then next to follow is Ephraim. It says Ephraim shall gather the nations, with his horns, with his strength. And being that Ephraim was the king of the northern tribe, so to speak, Ephraimites are in a particular position where wherever you see Ephraim, they're usually in the midst of Judah. You see, and so we on the northern kingdom side, Ephraimites kind of get that information and that relay first, and then they pass it off to the other Latino tribes of which we can intermingle with. Now Gad, it's more so clear because Gad dwells in this land in North America, which happens to be Babylon, which happens to be the primary center of where the awakening is going on, because that's where the majority of Judah has come. So Gad has been mixed amongst Judah as well. When you read in Deuteronomy 33, and it talks about how blessed be he who enlargeth Gad. So Judah and Gad have always had a unique relationship with each other. So a lot of Gadites, they can identify with the Hebraic roots as well, especially since there's a plethora of evidence concerning Gad. So the other tribes are getting it, but it's in a different way. That's why we want to create avenues like the Northern Kingdom Radio Show and do Spanish lessons and things of that nature to reach out and gather that ministry, because you have a lot of Issacharites, you have a lot of Asherites, you have a lot of Zebulonites that need to cleave to this truth, because as is stated in prophecy, all 12 tribes must come together. Judah and Ephraim must be one stick. So, we're working towards that, and Most High will, He'll put the Spirit upon all of our people to wake us so we can get those numbers from each tribe. But thank you for that question, brother. Now, towards Gad, and I'm not sure if Yaakov was gonna mention this or not, but it's actually written of in the Testament of Gad, which is in the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, that Gad acknowledged the fact that he had a weak liver. He acknowledged he had a weak liver and weak gall due to his hatred towards Joseph. The Most High cursed him with a weak liver. So, I personally believe that the other nations understood this, and as a result, they really attacked Gad hard with the alcohol. But go ahead, Brother Yaquab, you could go in, and then we'll move on to the next caller because we got about 20 minutes left.
Yeah, I'll just say real quick too to piggyback off the first question. You had mentioned that Judah is the trendsetter. They set the trends for the other 12 tribes. You can go on YouTube and or even Google and just type in. You could type in Res Life, REZ Life, or Life on the Reservation. Just try to get videos of Americans, of Native Americans in their settings, and you'll see a lot of these guys. They're they're walking around with the baggy jeans, with the hat cocked to the left or the right. They listen to rap music and things of that sort. So I believe that the Most High put the Spirit on Judah first, and through that, we see brothers like Chingy, starting to pick up the book and starting to, scream out who he is, and other brothers of that sort. So once this thing really starts to catch fire, you'll see a lot of the other tribes kind of just, run with it. So, not to put any pressure on, on Judah or anything like that, but I just feel like, like that's what it's going to take. Another thing is, too, when you look at the other tribes of the Northern Kingdom, a lot of them were under strong influence from the Catholic Church, the Mother Whore herself.
Right.
Now when Judah came over, it was a much softer kind of religion, a much with Christianity and the different denominations of Christianity. I think the spell was over Ephraim, much stronger, being that it was dealing right there with the Mother Whore. So
Absolutely.
When you when you speak to a lot of Spanish speaking people and people of that sort, you'll find out that they're under a spell. Like you'll try to you can show them things and it'll make perfect sense, but they can't put down that cross. They can't put down those rosary beads. They cannot speak ill of the Pope or the Father over their congregation and things like that. The spell that's on them is crazy. So it's going to take a lot longer. It's going to take a lot more patience to really break down that barrier to wake those brothers up, those sisters up. But that's just my feelings on that question. On the second portion of the question, I've never got into the Testament of Gad or the 12 tribes, so that's definitely something I have to read. But I mean, as far as prophecy goes, offhand, I can't speak on that. I think it's I guess for lack of knowledge on the topic, it was just something that took us down. And I don't think it's us too. I mean, you have Mexicans that deal with alcoholism. You got Judah. Judah deals with alcoholism. So I don't think it was so much on Gad. I think it's just highlighted on Gad, just to and I really think it was used to shed a bad light on us, because all the tribes, all the different nations, we all deal with alcoholism. It's just put on Gad more so just to. Now you have to understand, up until a certain point, Gad was very spiritual. Gad was very in tune with God. So there was very little you could say bad about Gad. Gad kind of distanced itself from the other 12 tribes.
Very true.
And when you look at it, all the tribes, we all have our different downfalls, and we've been studied so well. They know exactly how to take each one of us down, and they it's all the same program, it's all the same process, but they tweak it here and there to try to hold us down. But with Gad, there was very little they could say, because Gad is, I'm going to say this, and I could be wrong, but Gad is probably the only tribe out of the 12 who doesn't want to be American. Okay, right. You have Ephraim pouring over the borders. You have Mexico pouring over the borders. You have Asher. All these different tribes. Benjamin, Levi. Everybody's pouring over the borders to come into America and get a piece of what it's got. And the whole time, the only people he's shouting out is like, man, get us out of this place, or get these people off our land. Is Gad, and that's really the whole reason why they try to keep Gad silent. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you've seen Gad in the news? When was the last time you've seen Gad in Hollywood? When was the last time you've seen Gad in a book? Okay, they don't talk about Gad very much. The reason being is because Gad wants nothing to do with this system. So,
right. Absolutely, brother. Key points, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And thank you for highlighting everything that you mentioned, and with regards to that spell that you mentioned about Ephraim and the Northern Kingdom and the Catholic Church. That was a curse that was put on us specifically for the idolatry that we committed. And you can read about that in the book of Hosea profusely. It talks all about how the Most High will return that which we did unto him, and, the idolatry and things of that nature, which is why the Northern Kingdom was so heavily attacked by idols. And now that's our main stumbling block that we have to overcome due to the sins of our forefathers. And absolutely, I would concur with your statement about Gad, brother. They're definitely a very strong tribe, and it's due to Gad that a lot of us have come back to the truth because of all of the evidence and different things that they left behind as a testament for who we truly are. They still hold tight with the fringes and the Eastern designs, and even just that as a remnant of who we were is a sign that Gad is definitely a very strong tribe, man, and it's just really unfortunate how the Gentiles have really kind of overcome Gad. But like it says, Gad will overcome at the end. So all praise to the Most High for that. Now, we got about 13 minutes left, and we're already running into the overtime, and we have so many more callers and things of that nature. So I'm going to take two more callers, and then I'll have closing statements by our dear friend, Brother Yaquab, and Brother Omar, the co-host, and myself, and we'll close out. So please be brief. We got 575-910. 575-910. You are live. State your name, where you're from. What's your question? Can you hear us? Okay, guess not.
Hello.
All right. So
hello.
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 Yes.
Can you? Okay, I am Brother Sabby from New Mexico. And
okay, beautiful, brother.
I just wanted to comment. I'm very happy about the station coming up in Spanish. I know quite a few people from the tribe of Issachar. Actually, they're some tribes in Mexico, and I showed him the fringes, and he says there's some tribes up in Mexico that still wear them fringes and stuff.
Yeah. Sure.
And I told him, I was explaining to him about the tribes, and he was overjoyed. He's a pastor. And I said, with this information, you can be ostracized from the rest of your other pastors. But he was so overjoyed to hear this information. He says, I could care less if I was ostracized. I want to hear the rest of the story.
Yeah,
and now I'll get them on the line so that they can start hearing and asking questions themselves. They're in Santa Maria. They're the Oaxaca Indians, and they live up there. They're tribes that they don't, even within themselves, in the villages, they don't mix with each other, even if they're the same tribe. They're very pure. And I says, see the color of your skin for the Mexican, for Issachar, that's the original color. That's you guys, more pure. And I says, now the rest of us, like me, I'm lighter. We're eat from a cake unturned because of the mixture that got in with there. And I was explaining all this, but I wanted to comment also on the tribes. I know they were taken away from them, their dress, all kinds. They couldn't even practice their traditions. The tribe of Gad here in the United States, and until the 78 or somewhere in there, 77. And now, come to worship, it's not only the tribe of Issachar, the Mexicans. It's also, I noticed that the tribes of Gad, when they do now that they're allowed to do their traditional dances and stuff, all of them are done to the to Saint this and all these different saints. And I was talking to a few of them. I said, do you think your grandfathers, is this what they would approve? Now that you lost what you had, but do you think this is what they would teach you if you would have been able to be taught? I know the grandfathers and everything was taken away, and I just wanted to hear your comments on that. Tawada.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, Tawada, brother, Tawada. And what tribe were you from again, brother?
I'm from I'm in between Texas and Arizona. I'm in New Mexico.
Okay.
What nationality?
And your tribe?
I'm from I was born here in the United States, but my parents are from Mexico. We're Issachar.
Okay, beautiful, brother, man. Thank you for your call. Yeah. And I'm gonna jot your number down, and we could be in touch moving forward, brother, offline, because it's rare that you hear at Issachar, right, especially from the West Coast. So I really appreciate you, brother. You said your name was what again?
Sabby, Sabby.
Sabby. Okay, got you, brother. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Okay, brother. Thank you for that call. And brother Yaquab, please be brief. We got 8 minutes and 50 seconds left. So if you want to respond to that real quick, maybe 20, 30 seconds.
Okay. Yeah. As far as them, directing the ceremonial dances at to the saints, that's not going on up north. I know that much. I'm not surprised by it going on down south, seeing that there is major influence from the Issachar. the Mexicans. They hold dear to, the Roman Catholic Church. So that makes sense.
Right. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, man. Now, we're going to take one last caller. Please be very brief, as we only have 8 minutes left on the show, and we still got to get closing comments in. But I have 347-816, and I think I know who that is. 347-816, you are live. State your name, where you're from, what's your tribe, what's your question?
Shalom, brother. This is Sister Moza from the tribe of Judah.
Shalom. Shalom,
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Just wanted to ask if you guys ever heard about the International Tribunal into Crimes of Church and State. It's in regards to the children that were taken and murdered, they're Aboriginal children. There's a guy named Kevin Annett. He's a common law secretary, and he's basically vindicating the Vatican, just being guilty as charged for criminal bodies, I guess, into Elizabeth Windsor and Joseph Ratzinger. They actually have warrants out for them to appear in common law court for the murder of 150,000 Aboriginal children in Canada.
Wow. Now, real quick, sis, please restate the name of the case and who's heading that case up for the viewership, and speak a little louder because I wasn't able to catch them. I'm going to definitely look into this.
Okay, it's residential schools, it's mass murder, and the website to go to would be IT as in Tom, CCS.org, and that stands for International Tribunal into Crimes of Church and State, and it's basically talking about the Aboriginal children, Gadites in Canada, who were in these schools. They were being raped and murdered and sacrificed by Catholic priests. If you go on the website, it'll have all the information there.
Wow. And once again, that's I as in Israel, T as in Tom, E as in education, C as in class. Go ahead.
It's IT, C as in cat, C as in cat, S.
S as in school.
Yes, correct.
Okay, got you. .org.
.org, yes.
Okay, thank you so much, sis. We appreciate your call. That's excellent information, brother. I wasn't even aware of that, brother. Yaquab.
I was not aware of the case, pending against that, but I'm so happy to hear it because when I first started going through all this information, I got so roused up. I was so angry. I wanted to go to war. Man, reading the American Holocaust the first time, I was ready to go to war. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to bring a lawsuit against the Roman Catholic Church. And I started putting together these ideas and trying to, start thinking about, different lawyers you could find who would go against them. And I stopped thinking about it. I was like, man, no one's going to go against the Roman Catholic Church. So to hear this, man, I'm going to have to get tapped into that immediately.
Absolutely, man. And thank you for mentioning that because I think earlier I referenced the book, and if my memory serves correctly, I think I said American Terrorist, but I meant to say American Holocaust. That's an excellent read. Yeah, okay, beautiful, yeah. That's an excellent read, man, and I definitely resonate with your feelings, brother, because when I first found out, man, I was, like, ready to kill everybody that looked at me wrong, you know what I mean? I was like, man, these Gentiles, XYZ, but all praise to the Most High for the patience and the love that Christ and the Spirit instilled within us, man, to be able to long suffer as they've done. Now, we just got to endure to the end, and with that, we only have 4 minutes left, brother. I wanted to say really quick, for those that are looking into the Native Americans, an important movement of the Native Americans was AIM. It was the AIM, the American Indian Movement. That actually took place, and I wanted to mention this earlier, but they were actually fighting alongside with the Black Panthers and the Young Lords and things of that nature. That's a movement that's not very much spoken of, but they were infiltrated by COINTELPRO as well. So it's interesting to see that that it was Judah, Ephraim, Gad, all working together at that time in the 60s and 70s. And, definitely look into that movement. And I think it's clear to see that all Indians are not dead. They are still very much alive, contrary to the modern-day stigma that is put against our brothers, Gad. We want to thank Brother Yaquab for coming on the show and sharing his information. And, we could keep going on for hours and hours. It's such an interesting topic. But we pray that the show was edifying for everyone. And please do your research because it's necessary. The Elder Gabar always says it's the intellectual Hebrew that's going to win this war now. So we got to continue to fight, continue to endure. All praise to the Most High for keeping us. Let's stay strong in this fight together and move forward as a body in Christ, in the name of Christ. Ahai B'Shem Yeshaya Wawawak. Brother Yaquab, any closing statements?
I'll just say real fast, in light of what you just spoke on, this radio station is in vain. It's in vain unless everybody who's listening does the research. Okay, you have a proper understanding on everything that's brought out. You could look into it further. There's a lot we were not able to get into. But this radio station is in vain unless you do your own research and you spread this word. So we can sit here and talk all day, but unless each brother, each sister's out there spreading the word, nothing's going to happen. We got to get this thing spread to the four corners. So let's go.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother, man. All praise to the Most High. Brother Omar from Puerto Rico, any last closing statements? We got a minute and 50 seconds left. Please make your statement brief, brother. And we're going to close out.
Shalom, brothers. Great show, brother. Hope we can have next time more time to discuss. We can make a comparison between the similar customs of the Native Americans and the rest of the tribes in South America and Central America, because the similarities are astonishing. We have the same customs. So, great show, and hope we can talk again on the same subject. So.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brother Omar, man. And Yaquab, man, it's been a great pleasure to have you on the show, brother. I think we're going to have to schedule something to have you back on, maybe in a few more shows, so that we can, continue this discussion, man, and maybe speak on some other agendas and things that are plaguing your people. Now, with that said, brothers and sisters, we are going to close out. Please tune in to the radio show. Like we said, we're still up and running. We're trying to do what we can. We're trying to get everything, together. So the shows are not as consistent as we would like it to be. But every show that we do have, we promise that it will be fully packed and full of information for people to take home. So just bear with us in these next few shows as we begin to really kind of get this process streamlined. But with that, we're going to say bless you all. Thank you for tuning in. We love you. Please tune in to the next show. This is Despierta, mi gente, signing out. All praise to the Most High. Ahai B'Shem Yeshaya Wawawak Kadash. Amen.